nursing need theory highlights that nurses are helpers to the patients in achieving their basic needs on the road to recovery and patient independence to perform tasks unaided. The theory states three nurse-patient relationships. 1. The nurse can work as a substitute for the patient. 2. Helper to the patient. And 3. Companion with the patient. It has confirmed to me that the characteristics of a good nurse are to address the 14 basic needs of the patients, which Henderson outlined in the theory. These are the patient's breathing, healthy diet, eliminating body waste, good hygiene in protecting the integument, and a good sleep and rest. It includes body positioning and movement, normal body temperature, and comfortable clothing. Communication in expressing emotions, avoiding environmental dangers and harm to others, and discovering how to achieve good health through available healthcare resources. Acknowledge the patient's faith and enable participation in activities that foster a sense of accomplishments. These helped me realize that a good nurse holistically addresses the patient's basic needs. A good nurse characteristics work on the entire health and well-being of the patients, such as biological, physiological, spiritual, and social aspects, whether they are sick or not. It is about helping patients achieve better health outcomes, boost their healing journey, or provide solace during their final moments. A 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck Taiwan on the 3rd of April 2024, the most powerful natural disaster the country has experienced. NBC News highlighted that there are hundreds of people were trapped in the buildings and missing. The Miami Herald International Edition broadcast a video inside the Maria Cherry Maternity Center in Taipei during the earthquake. The video showed the remarkable works of nurses working closely to gather newborns swaddled tightly in their bassinets. The nurses connected all the bassinets and held on firmly while the building shook from the earthquake. The event showed that the nurses displayed competence in making critical decisions by prioritizing care for newborns in life and death situations. McCormack and McCain state that person-centered nursing (PCN) delivers care through different activities, like providing for patients' physical needs. In this case, the nurses knew that the most important physical needs of the newborns were their safety. The nurses' selfless decision to protect the newborns comes first before their safety is, I believe, a PCN practice. I experienced a 7.5 magnitude earthquake in the Philippines in 2002, and I know what that shake feels like. Human instinct is to seek safety, get low, or hide. I think what the nurses did was an act of generosity, kindness, mercy, and devotion to practice. These qualities of nurses have influenced my perception of how to practice PCN. Other qualities of nurses during the earthquake that have shaped my perception of PCN practice are their dedication to patient safety standards and teamwork. These demonstrate the strength that comes from unity and the importance of treating all patients with fairness and equality. I am the eldest of 12 siblings, which taught me patience, made me a team player, and shaped me to serve and treat people equally. I aspire to be a nurse practicing PCN, drawing on my core values, ethical principles, and ways of knowing. The Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia, NMBA, defines PCN nursing as nurses provide safe, person-centered, evidence-based practice for the health and well-being of the people, and in partnership with the person, promote shared decision-making and care delivery between the person, nominated partners, family, friends, and health professionals. My husband Paul suffered a brain injury from a fall, and at the hospital, nurses asked thorough questions to learn about his background, interests, lifestyle, and home environment. Our experience affirmed the principles of ways of knowing, such as empirical, ethical, personal, and aesthetic knowing. The nurses used empirical knowing through evidence-based practices like monitoring vital signs and carrying out medical procedures. I saw personal knowing demonstrated by building relationships with us, showing genuine concern by spending extra time listening to our concerns and cheering us up when we felt hopeless. Linking to my core values, I will patiently provide my patients with a listening ear and a safe place to freely share their fears and worries and let them feel valued. During Paul's recovery, the ethical knowing principle was evident when we expressed frustration and anger by honestly answering our questions. Nurses demonstrated aesthetic knowing by addressing the patient's physical and emotional needs through activities like organizing football show on television, listening to music, and visiting the prayer room. Through my relationship with the patient, I can find activities that would bring them happiness and use my gift of service to accommodate their preferences. These actions exemplified the art of nursing in its truest form. The concepts of ways of knowing, ethical principles, and core values are interconnected in PCN practice. They mirror the nurse's values and affect decision-making and treatment approaches when caring for patients and their families. Drawing my close-knit family experience, I can work with patients and their families in a team. I will incorporate teamwork values to help achieve our common goal. Nurses face challenges when their beliefs and values differ from those of the patients, which is why the four bioethical principles, autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice, underpin professional ethics in nursing to help nurses practice PCN. My family has always influenced my decisions. However, bioethical principles indicate that a capable adult has the right to make decisions without external influence, known as autonomy. So, even if my patient does not have family present, I will still provide all necessary information to support their health choices, including the right to refuse treatment. During Paul's 3 months hospital stay, the nurses demonstrated the beneficence principle by acting in his best interest. When Paul refused to shower for 17 days, a nurse patiently explained the benefits using printed materials and photos, eventually convincing him to shower that same day. Connecting my values, I will wait patiently for my patient to shower on his term. Meanwhile, I will encourage him to change his clothes and practice basic hygiene. My daughter, a competitive swimmer, broke her elbow and could not train for almost a year. When she finally returned to training, she was disappointed with her personal best time. She had been dedicated to training to qualify for the upcoming competition. Just before the competition, we found out that she needed elbow surgery on the same day. I explained her mental health struggles to the hospital nurse, and they scheduled the surgery for the next day. Our experience demonstrated the non-maleficence principle as the nurse understood the importance of considering a patient's mental health alongside their physical well-being. Linking my core values of service will help me weigh the benefits versus risk of rescheduling the surgery. I will serve my patients by choosing what will benefit their psychological, social, and whole well-being. Justice was known in my experience. My daughter received fair and equal treatment even if she was of Asian descent. In the same way, I will provide my patients with an equal standard of PCN practice regardless of their background and status. In conclusion, my values, ethical principles, and ways of knowing play a significant role in my PCN practice, and applying bioethical principles will help guide my decisions and improve my practice.